6 p.m. here in Cairo. Time for the news. My name is Aman Mukhtar. We start our news with the headlines. President Sisi praises ties with Pakistan as he receives chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee. Campaigning for Senate election continues one day before election silence is observed. And Gaza famine warning intensifies as Israel defies ceasefire calls, killing 46 Palestinians overnight. Welcome back. The news in detail. President Abdel Sisi on Wednesday hailed positively developing bilateral ties binding Egypt and Pakistan. Receiving Pakistan's chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee, Sahir Shamchad Mirzaza, the president reviewed means of promoting mutual cooperation in military and security fields and expertise in fighting terrorism. The meeting that was attended by Minister of Defense and Military Production Abdulmajid Saqr also discussed Middle East developments. The two sides reviewed Egypt's efforts to reach a ceasefire in Gaza and insisted on putting an end to the humanitarian suffering and Palestinians and on widening international recognition of the independent Palestinian state. In a separate meeting with Italy's defense minister, Giulio Crosetto, President Abdel Sisi stressed the importance of continuous boost of positive momentum in Egyptian-Italian bilateral relations. The meeting probed means of promoting mutual cooperation, notably in military and security fields, in a way that reflects the shared strategic interests of both countries amid regional and international turbulences. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli delivered a speech on Wednesday marking World Day Against Trafficking in Persons. The Prime Minister said that fighting human trafficking is a humanitarian and ethical obligation and not only a legal one, adding that the states that respect human dignity should fight it. The day, which falls on the 30th of July, arose as public global awarenesses against the criminal act that involves the exploitation of individuals for profit through force, fraud, threats, or manipulation. This year marked the 25th anniversary of the Protocol of the Prevention of Punishing the Trafficking of human trafficking, notably women and children, which is the cornerstone in the international law framework to combat this crime. Prime Minister Madbouli said Egypt was one of the first countries that joined the protocol. United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime finds the presence of human trafficking in 141 countries. The National Elections Authority had Deputy Head of the Court of Cassation, Councillor Hazem Badawi, said technical and organizational preparations for Senate elections 2025 were completed. Badawi asserted that Egypt is among a few countries that lead elections through a judicial-based independent national authority. This comes as campaigning for the Senate election continued one day before election silence that starts tomorrow. Voting abroad to select senates will kick off on Friday and Saturday, 1st and 2nd of August, while it will start on Monday and Tuesday, the 4th and 50th of August nationwide.
الاستعداد لانتخابات مجلس الشيوخ الفصل التشريعي الثاني 25/30 بدأ من أشهر طويلة وكان على محورين، في محور تنظيمي وإداري ومحور فني. المحور الإداري بدأ بمعاينة مقر الاختراع في مختلف محافظات الجمهورية واختيار الأنسب منها، ثم تجهيز هذه اللجان بكافة المستلزمات والتقنيات من سواتر وصناديق شفافة وملصقات وإرشادات.
Welcome back. And starting a visit to Washington, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Expatriate Affairs Abdul met with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, Chairman of the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Foreign Operations in the U.S. Congress on Wednesday. The top diplomat praised the Egyptian-U.S. strategic partnership and existing cooperation which serves common interests and contributes to enhancing security and stability in the Middle East region. Regarding developments in Gaza, Abdul stressed the need to reach a permanent ceasefire and the importance of ensuring the regular flow of aid relief supplies. On another level, he expressed Egypt's concerns regarding the Ethiopian dam on the Nile River and Egyptian water security. The top diplomat also met with the U.S. Senate's Democrat Minority Leader بعام and reviewed Egyptian efforts to support peace in the region. The top diplomat asserted Egypt's interest in boosting economic cooperation, trade and investments between Egypt and the U.S. The foreign minister also met with Roger Wicker, head of the U.S. Senate's Military Services Committee. The meeting reviewed regional threats and challenges and hailed existing military cooperation between Egypt and the U.S. For the fourth consecutive day, the Rafah border crossing continues to pick up humanitarian aid trucks in preparation for their entry into the Gaza Strip. This came within continuous Egyptian efforts to reduce the humanitarian crises suffered by people in Gaza Strip. According to Egypt News correspondents, 1,000 tons of food and medical relief aid supplies are entering Gaza on Wednesday. The World Food Programme, UNICEF, and the Food and Agriculture Organization warned that Gaza was on the brink of a full-scale famine due to Israeli restrictions on aid. The World Food Programme, UNICEF, and the Food and Agriculture Organization warned that time was running out and that Gaza was on the brink of a full-scale famine. The integrated food security phase. Local hospitals said continued Israeli strikes and gunfire in Gaza Strip killed at least 46 Palestinians overnight into Wednesday morning. The dead have included 12 people who were killed while waiting for humanitarian aid trucks near the Dikim crossing in the northwestern Gaza. Also, 16 people were killed Tuesday evening while waiting for aid trucks close to the Moraj corridor, which separates the two southern cities of Khan Yunis and Rafah. 13 others were killed in strikes in the Jubalia refugee camp and the northern towns of Beit Lahia and Beit Han. France's top diplomat said Wednesday that France and 14 other Western nations called on countries worldwide to move to recognize a Palestinian state. The remark comes after a UN conference on two-state solution in the Middle East and West in New York urged Israel to commit to the Palestinian state. The New York Declaration also called for putting an end to the ongoing war in Gaza and for a flow of aid. One of the strongest earthquakes were recorded struck Russia's sparsely populated Far East early on Wednesday, causing tsunamis up to 4 meters across the Pacific and sparking evacuations from Hawaii to Japan. According to the USGS, the magnitude 8.8 quake struck in the morning of Petropavlovsk on Russia's remote Kamchatka Peninsula and was one of the 10 biggest recorded. Authorities said that the population of around 2,000 people were evacuated. Authorities, meanwhile, in Russia's Far East Shakin region declared a state of emergency in the northern Kuril Islands. In economy news, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli today asserted the government continued efforts to provide large amounts of staple commodities as affordable prices, taking all the procedures to achieve more stability in the national market. Chairing a weekly cabinet meeting, the Prime Minister also stressed Egypt's keen interest in supporting local industries through allowing more incentives in different sectors and localizing the components of pivotal industries. Madbouli also reiterated the state's keenness to develop an integrated strategy to revive handicrafts. Minister of Petroleum Mineral Resources Karim Badawi witnessed the signing ceremony of a memorandum of understanding between the Petroleum Ministry and Chinese group United Energy. The signing laid the framework of future cooperation in the oil and natural gas field and exploring investment opportunities by the Chinese group in Egypt's renewable energy field. The signing ceremony followed a meeting between the Petroleum Minister and the group's executive chief at his official visit to the United Arab Emirates. Egypt's markets closed lower today amid sell-offs by Arab and foreign corporations against purchases by local corporations and local Arab and foreign investors. The market capital listed companies lost 14 billion Egyptian pounds, reaching 3.2 trillion pounds at the end of an average transactions of 5.5 billion. The benchmark index EGX 30 dipped 0.7% at the 33,860 point mark. The equal weighted indices EGX 70 and the EGX 100 fell 1% and 1.2% respectively. In the sports news, the technical coaching staff led by Hussam Hassan today set the final date of the national football team's training. Real Madrid said that Kylian Mbappé will follow other La Liga club. With this, we come to the end of the news bulletin. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.